Hello, my name is Jack Rogers.
And I'm Natasha Calamina, and welcome to The Change.
In tonight's show, as it's been 20 years ago today since the first text message was sent, we take a look at how students tried to go a week without any form of social media. Can you imagine?
And we'll be finding out just how fast game technology is changing via something called immersion.
We'll also look at the dark side of social media and how powerfully it affects individuals.
And finally, did you know that only 4% of the population give blood and hardly any of those are students?
But first, let's see just how this student tried to cope without any means of social media. Could it be possible?
For many years now, technology has become a dominant feature of modern day society. The current generation of young adults are the first to be brought up with advanced methods of communicating and socialising with others. Instant live messaging, social networks and mobile phones have all been part of many youngsters' lives. Did you know that if Facebook was a country, it would be the third largest in the world, behind China and India? Also, up to 70% of kids under the age of 15 now have a mobile phone. So we thought we would make a challenge to a small group of university students, as they'll be vulnerable to a media blackout. We asked them to go a week without any form of internet, mobile phones or modern day technology. So let's see how they got on.
Okay, so it's day one of no phone, no laptop or anything, and it's been a hell of a day.
It really does make you think about how much you rely on, like mobile phones and stuff.
Instead of using my phone or my laptop or anything, I decided to clean my room. I got bored.
Sort of kind of used to it because I can just ask other people what's going on.
Switching on the TV and stuff like that. I made myself some soup, and in like dead silence, and I really don't like that.
Also, one of my friends who's also doing the challenge couldn't tell me that she'd smashed one of my wine glasses last night whilst I was asleep. She couldn't text me, so she left me a note.
It's election day today, and it's kind of freaking me out that because I think it starts in about 20 minutes. So we're not going to know who America's new president is until somebody kindly decides to tell us tomorrow, or we find a newspaper tomorrow, which is really strange.
Difficult, I suppose, and a bit isolating. Like earlier on, I was downstairs and all my flatmates were watching TV and I'm stuck in the kitchen because I'm not allowed to watch TV.
Day 3, it's been horrible and I don't want to do it anymore. And Joe said I couldn't go on YouTube, so I haven't been on YouTube and it's been stressing me out and don't like it. Don't want to do it anymore, but I'm going to do it anyway because everybody tells me I have to and I'm being a terrible person to quit. So I'm not going to quit, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
Wow, I know I wouldn't be able to do that. Later on in the show, we'll be speaking to a participant of the media blackout and finding out about their week-long experience without social media.
Now it seems gaming technology is becoming hard to keep up with, and it seems that the latest focus is on immersion.
Immersion is the term used for when a user of a product has a deep mental involvement in said product. In video games, this term is used for how natural and involving a game feels. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how immersion is reshaping the gaming industry. Video game companies have become a household commodity since the late 80s, and the companies behind them are constantly trying to find new ways to engage with their players. If you ever wanted to get involved in the game before this new wave of consoles, your best bet was to head down to your local arcade. Full of gaming cabinets, dance machines and light gun action games, the arcade was a fun way for children to spend their pocket money, as a large number of machines required them to move around or ride something, making these games much more involving experiences. Skip ahead to 2005, and we reach a new age of gaming with the advent of the Nintendo Wii. This console was revolutionary, allowing gamers to experience motion control for the first time. The console was a smash hit, attracting a new wave of gamers who previously would have never thought of playing before. The success of the Wii paved the way for rival companies Microsoft and Sony, as they created their own alternatives, the PS Move and the Kinect. Unlike its rivals, the Kinect was released to even more critical acclaim, due to it doing away with peripherals entirely, its tagline being, "You are the controller." From looking at this, it's easy to see that immersion is becoming more and more of a necessity within the gaming industry. But why is this? We spoke to a web and game developer, Ben Woodford, for his thoughts on the matter.
Immersion is necessary now, in order to move forwards as an industry. Non-gamers look at a gamepad and are put off by how complicated it looks. If you give them a game where all they need to know is how to control themselves, they'll be much more willing to give it a try, and eventually open up to more kinds of games. Likewise, gamers are continuing to play their games, but after a much more involving experience from them, they want to feel what it's like to be their character, or be in these fictional worlds. Therefore, immersive tech, like the Kinect, allows them to break this barrier. It's escapism at work. We're already seeing this in other industries too, what with 3D films and the like.
So what about the future? The Oculus Rift, a virtual reality headset that promises 3D vision and the ability to look around the game world by moving your head, and the Razer Hydra, a motion controller allowing perfect motion translation, look like the most promising attempts to appease gamers' necessity for inclusive gaming. It seems that, before long, the most popular experiences will be the most immersive ones.
So it seems gaming technology as we know it is getting better and better.
So has giving blood ever crossed your mind? Okay, maybe you may not feel the need to now, but it may be you that will need it in the long run.
So let's see just what happened when we went to look at the Southampton Blood Donor Centre.
Today we're at Southampton General Hospital outside the Blood and Transplant Unit, and we'll be talking to Amanda Watley to see what she has to say about blood donations and why people should become blood donors.
We need more blood donors because there's a constant demand for blood. In this country we need to collect 7,000 units a day to meet hospital demand to treat patients, say with leukemia, any cancers, someone who's having a hip or a knee replacement in general surgery, or maybe after childbirth. So it's really important that we have a constant demand of blood donors coming through to help those patients. All blood groups are in demand. O positive is universal blood group, so that can be given to anyone, so we always need a massive supply of that. However, some of the rarer blood groups we would need to treat people who have the rarer groups themselves, so we need all blood groups all the time. Blood has a shelf life of only 12 days, so you can imagine that around bank holidays, blood donations are even more crucial for patients who are sick. Just because it's bank holiday doesn't mean that you won't get your treatment. It's down to the blood donors that save lives every day that make that difference.
And I come from Southampton University, and I, for the last 4 years, have needed blood. The condition is called inflammatory bowel disease, and it means that my immune system attacks itself, so it creates ulcers in my gut, which then makes me bleed a lot. So I need regular blood transfusions to sort of give me back the blood that I'm losing. And I've got to do all this stuff because it's really hard to try and find people to say thank you for giving blood, because I need it so regularly, and I wouldn't be here today without it. So yeah, amazing.
What would you say to somebody considering to give blood the first time?
I'd just say that it's not just for people who have freak accidents or anything. It's for people who have long-term conditions as well that need blood transfusions regularly, and they, without someone like the donors giving blood, and when it doesn't cost them anything to do it, and you get free biscuits and tea as well. I mean, you can ask for more. Just an hour of their time, and it can save lives. So,
in terms of risks, the only thing you'll catch, hopefully, is the bug for giving blood, and it's a real chance to save a life. So we really value any donations. We really need donations from younger donors as well. So as soon as you're 17, you can do it. So make it a social event, go along with your friends, or put your appointments together to come along and start giving blood for the rest of your life.
Only 4% of the population give blood. Hopefully those numbers will go up in the future.
And for our last issue of tonight, we'll take a look into the dark side of social media. Social media has become even more popular and accessible, but as we know from Lord McAlpine, it can be misused. We turn to Amy for an inside look at cyberbullying.
Over 1 million people a day use social networking sites to communicate with friends, family, and even celebrities. However, some people use it to abuse and even break the law. There are over 100 billion connections on Facebook, with 850 million users and growing every single day. Twitter has 175 million tweets a day, with over 465 million Twitter accounts. And on top of this, there are 2 billion views a day on YouTube, with 24 hours of footage uploaded every single minute. But did you know 31% of harassment occurs online? 65% of young adults aged 8 to 14 have been involved in cyberbullying, and only a fraction of all these incidents have been reported. We've come to the streets of Winchester to ask the general public their thoughts on legislation in social media. Do you believe that the regulations are working or fair?
I don't think they're working.
No, not at all, definitely not.
Because you still see a lot of stuff that's not meant to be on Facebook.
I think that the regulations on Facebook at the moment are fair because stuff's being done to prevent stuff that people don't want to see go online, so I think it's good to keep that stuff off.
Do you believe that you have the freedom to say what you want on social networking sites?
Yeah, I mean, they can't control what you say, and even when they do, they take it off like 2 days later, so it's already been on there and it's already been seen, so yeah, completely.
To some extent, I think, yeah, but I think the media sort of jump on things quite a lot.
I think you have to be careful because a lot of people are going to see your post, and you have to be careful of like what you're going to be seen by other people.
Do you think that police activity on Facebook will prevent cyberbullying and other serious causes?
Yeah, I think it should definitely be monitored, like by parents or police or stuff like that, just to prevent it in the future and just to make people aware of it.
No, I don't think anybody's scared of the police as much as they should be.
No, not at all.
Sian has been victim to online abuse before and understands firsthand how difficult it can be.
So it probably started when I was about 10, 11 years old. Everybody, was asking their parents if they could get on MSN and Bebo, and obviously that was a big deal for everybody. So I wasn't the most popular girl at school. I was a little bit of a dork, so I was a bit of a target a lot of the time. So they would just, tell me that I was a loser. They'd tell me I was ugly and I was pointless and stupid and things like that. At the time, it was pretty hurtful because they were the people I had to spend a lot of time with. If I went to school with them, then I'd see them every day, and they'd, sort of point and laugh and talk about the horrible things they'd said, thinking that it was okay. Looking back, it was hurtful at the time, but now it's not exactly affected me in the long run, because you sort of have to move on from it, remember that girls will be girls, and, children and adolescents kind of need to grow up and learn that sometimes you shouldn't say things like that, and I think you've just sort of got to take it in your stride and remember that if people say things like that to you, it's not the end of the world. They're irrelevant if they're going to take the time to be awful to you, and it's just something you've got to learn from and learn the kind of people you should spend time with when you're older.
Even though the government are acting upon people who take advantage of their freedom of speech online, there will always be victims like Sian. How far do you think the government will go to stop this, or do you think it will carry on into the foreseeable future?
I guess that teaches us to be protective of what information we post on the internet. It's amazing what people can do with such little information about you.
Now back to part 2 of the media blackout, in which we saw students tackling Mission Impossible. Imagine going a week without any form of social media.
Okay, so day 3 of the experiment.
And I'm bored. Really bored.
I'm ashamed to say that I quit.
Getting pretty tired of it now. I'm really bored. But I miss the comfort of having my phone with me all the time and checking the time and
yeah. And instead of using the internet for research and stuff, I actually went to the library for the first time and got out a ton of books.
My little sister rang Katie on Katie's phone, and she was very upset, so I had to talk to her on Katie's phone.
I can't wait for this to be over now. The one thing that I'm struggling with, again, is not knowing the time and having to rely on other people or having to rely on the uni clocks or anything. But another thing that is not necessarily me finding hard, but my housemates who aren't taking part, or my friends who need to get in contact with me, they're getting quite frustrated because they can only contact me through email if it's regarding uni work, or they have to contact me via my housemates, and then my housemates get annoyed because they keep getting texts.
So today I had to use a telephone box, like, you know, the old red telephone boxes, and it was the worst experience of my life. I didn't know how to use one. I could hardly hear my mum at the other end. She was like, "Why are you using a phone?" "I'm not using a phone, I'm using a phone box." And yeah, it wasn't a nice experience, and I can see why they invented mobile phones.
Day 5 of the media blackout, and it's Friday! Yes! Do you know what? If I can't have TV, at least I can get drunk. I'm happy about that.
It is 11:46 and I officially get my phone back in 14 minutes. I'm really excited. I'll get my Facebook password as well. I can log on and say hi to the people that I haven't been able to talk to in the past week. It hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. I think I've over-exaggerated a little bit in my videos.
Yay! Get my phone. Let's go back on Facebook. Let's ruin my life. No, I'm joking. But it's been interesting. I quite enjoyed it, not having to crap about Facebook. I think I got a bit more work done, to be honest. But I have missed just being able to go on my phone. Like, oh, what's that? Glad it's nearly over, because I can get back contacting people, things like that, having a normal life. Because it is a normal life. You don't have to have a phone, but it's just the sort of age we live in now. Everyone has phones. Like, I'm making a video on here, and people want information quickly, and the only way to get information quickly is through technology.
We have Michael Nottingham here to tell us more about the challenging experience. Hey Mike, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem.
So Michael, what actually made you want to take up such a challenge?
Well, first off, just for a laugh, really, and to see if I could actually do it. I mean, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but obviously from what we've seen, that looked pretty difficult. When did you actually start to struggle with this? Because that looked unbelievable.
I think the first time I started struggling with it was, I don't know, I think it might have been the second day. That's when it started to sink in. You know, no mobile phone, no Xbox, no TV. Kind of get withdrawal symptoms.
So what did you actually do in your free time?
I made a lot of soup. With no sound whatsoever, because I wasn't allowed any music, so all I had was my imagination, soup, and the people that would not talk to me because they're too busy watching TV, sorry.
Okay, and well, obviously it would be very difficult to live without this in the modern day and age. So why do you think about this? Why would you think that would happen?
Well, I think it's because we like being connected to each other, you know, from, say, like I'm at uni, well, we all are at uni, and we've got family members that are, you know, all across, you know, the country, and we can't exactly see them, like, you know, next door, so we can like to keep in contact, you know, through mobile phones, email, Skype, and when you don't have that, you feel a bit cut off, so you have to go, you know, it's like, please talk to me, I'm all alone. So, yeah, that's probably why. Okay, well, thanks for being here, Michael. It's been great having you. Oh, thanks for having me.
Big thank you to Michael for being with us today. And it looks like that's the end of tonight's show.
Yeah, catch us next week, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter @TheChange.
Or like us on Facebook.
Good night.